no idea. I really haven't lived a very interesting life. I haven't really done much with my life.
Like, have you ever had, like, toast one morning and you're like, should have had, like, I don't know, porridge, and that's, like, changed the course of your day?
She's like,
I've thought of a butterfly effect in my life.
Okay, so, do you remember me before lockdown? How well do you remember me before lockdown? Lockdown, just, to be fair, like both of the lockdowns, I was just a very different person before both of them. And I don't really know why, but I just had a lot of personal growth in them, and it's definitely changed the person that I am, and I'm not really sure why.
Like, butterfly effect
and not necessarily like bad things and good things though. Like the way I dress is completely different. The music I didn't listen to, just like what I'm interested in, is completely different.
Yeah, we just found out that we have a lot in common, and we went from there, and then it went really quickly, to be fair, like from not talking to suddenly being best friends, and then still being best friends to this day because of one lesson. Picking German in the first place for GCSEs.
Exactly. Yeah. What made you choose German? Was it just like...
It was similar to Polish.
Was there option?
I was late.
What were the options? German, French?
German and French for me, so...
That's interesting. If you chose French, it might have... You know, that sort of effect might have been traced even further back to what if you chose French?
What if I would have never talked to her.
That's really...
And like we had maths together, we didn't talk. It was just in that one German we started talking.
Oh yeah.
She just was very toxic. But I also feel like if I hadn't have met her, I wouldn't have become close with like my friends that I am with today. Because when she was off of school, I was making new friends, and these are friends I'm still with now. Whereas if she stayed, I probably would have still been in this toxic situation.
So even though it was a bad situation and it happened at the time, you made friends from it, and something kind of strangely came from something that wasn't necessarily the best.
Yeah.
Okay, if a friend's certain circumstances hadn't happened, we would probably still be like really close still. But now we don't really talk anymore. Well, we do, but like not really. But like I don't know, like everyone said when we first met, like we hit it off so well, and we were like besties, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" So I feel like if things had gone differently, but then obviously it's out of our control.
My dad's car like broke down the other day, so he didn't get to go to work, and then everyone on site came down with COVID, and he wasn't there, so he had to turn around. I was like, what? It's really, really weird.
Where was I when that happened? Someone couldn't go somewhere, I think it was to a party or something, and it like turned out like it was like a really bad evening, or like something happened where it was like, it's crazy, isn't it?
You do sit at like parties sometimes and you do like, fuck, why did I come? I wish I didn't come.
I wonder what our conversations would be like. I wonder what her life is. Like, I just wonder, and there's nothing else. I can never find these answers, but I wonder. So I went to the bus stop, and I'm standing there, and the bus comes, and it's a 17 bus. So the bus comes. And she turns to me and she goes, "I'm trying to find the mosque. Do you know where it is?" And I said, "Yeah, I know where it is. So I can get you there." So she hooks onto my arm, and that's it. We're going to the mosque together. And so she hooked onto my arm, and we went on the bus together and sat at the front of the bus together. And she just started talking, and I was really, really receptive. And for me, it felt like she was my fairy godmom, because at that point, I really had a lack of direction mentally, and I was just cracking on. I didn't know, just cracking on with it, doing the motions. And then she was talking about her life and how she's here in the UK. She recently bought a new home for her and her daughter. Her daughter's had a child. She's trying to find the mosque because her daughter's house is near around there. And she said to me, "Oh, I even wrote it down in my notes because it was just so impactful." She said, "Make sure you enjoy your 20s, you're young, enjoy it all." And she said, "And don't let people hold you back. Don't let anybody hold you back, whether it's boys, men, whatever. Don't let anybody hold you back, because men will do that. They'll hook onto you, get their claws into you, and then they will keep you from achieving."
Interesting thing to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you view it as a butterfly effect, or do you view it like more as like an event that happened?
I think it's like a life event, maybe. I don't know. I think I've had lots of turning points in my life. Yeah. Because I think it would have just kind of gotten worse over the years, but it kind of like pushed it into one go, which in some ways was kind of good. But like if that hadn't happened, I guess like I don't think I'd be the same person.
I suppose it kind of makes you deal with it quite head on.
That process.
You know?
I don't think everything happens for a reason. I think everything happens by chance. Again, you work with what you've got. You do the best with what you can. I think there are instances, it's very nice to imagine that everything's on a timeline and different things are going to come in and structures are going to affect everything. And at some point, I do believe that, this thing happened and then this thing happened. And if not, you understand, you make these connections and links, but I think that's only natural.
It's not the way you don't choose. It's like life choosing it for you.
I think I kind of go back and forth. You know, I'll kind of think about something and go, oh no, I'll think about it for ages. And then I'll kind of come to a realization like, oh, I don't need to, this is not that deep, and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Like, even, it's not really an impulse decision, but like, things like going out and things like that, a lot of the times, oh my God, I don't want to go out. I feel really weird. But then I kind of think, well, if I don't go out, I'm just going to be sat at home feeling shit that I've sat at home. So I might as well just go. So that's kind of where like a lot of like kind of last minute choices kind of come through.
Like, I'll sit here and I'll plan I'll come up with what we're doing for the whole day. And then like people will move and I'll be like, well, not going to happen. Like, my mind is constantly trying to predict what's going to happen in the next day and like constantly coming up with situations for it. But like, saying that, I'm so fucking impulsive. It's so bad.
Yeah, I do. I think I kind of have to, because not that my life's been really hard, it hasn't, but because of the things I've been through, I kind of have to think about that, because I'm like, it's made me who I am. And like, but I also, like, for things like I miss out on something and I'm like, oh, this happened for a reason. Like, maybe if I'd gone, like, something terrible would happen. Yeah. And like, I don't know, it's like, I guess it's what people find in religion. It's like that comfort that there is something greater than you.
But I wouldn't say I necessarily believe in soulmates. I think your souls are so individual and personal. Souls are so individual and personal to think that you found your soulmate. And in a romantic perspective as well, I think it's too much. I think I found my soulmate in my best friend. I think I've found my soulmate in my partner and in my lover. I don't think it's silly. I think people are hopeful. I think people are very like, there's times I've said, he's my soulmate and we get along. And that's just a way of describing the meaning and the depth of the relationship to others. I think soulmates, I don't necessarily, because I think soulmates imply that there's nothing ever wrong, that nothing goes bad, and it's perfect, and you guys are meant for each other, and by that happening, you never collide or clash or have differences or anything like that, and you're not allowed to, because you're soulmates, it has to work, and that's not the case.
I think it's like a lot of work, and like it could be anyone, but I do believe that if the universe wanted it to happen, it would happen. So like if a relationship fails, it means that like it's not meant to be, and like if there is a person out there for me, then I will meet them.
Because for me, like when you say like by chance, I kind of think of like by accident, and a lot of the friends that I have now, I've known from like primary school, so I didn't really have to like meet them.
It doesn't have to be necessarily by chance. I mean, even like meeting them in primary school.
Yeah.
That's even chances.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, like meeting Claudia. Yeah. Like 100% like changed my life almost. Because I don't really want to imagine my life without her. She's just so impactful to me, and I've got so many good memories with her. Yeah, she is my best friend, like 100%.
But it's true, like sometimes you say like, if that's like your long-term friend, sure, it wasn't necessarily a chance meeting. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it's like the chance that you didn't meet her.
Yeah, exactly.
Is, I don't know, that could have altered a lot of things for you.
Yeah.
When I was in year 3, if I maybe hadn't jumped on the skip, I wouldn't have fractured my skull.
Do you have a scar? Do you have a scar from it now?
Yeah, it goes like all the way down there.
It's an audio recording, so you won't see it.
It looks like a lake.
That's really cool.
And I have 2 screws and 2 metal plates in my head.
Do you?
Yep.
I literally didn't know
for a metal detector.
No, I can. They're like so small that they were like, it won't affect anything. But I have like titanium in my head.
If you didn't like fall, you wouldn't have those screws. In your
Yeah,
head.
exactly. And I wouldn't have just gone through that experience. Like, I would never have broken anything in my life.
I think in terms of like expression and like what I choose to wear and how I choose to present myself, and I think 100%. Then there's also kind of parts like you know, like genetics and stuff like that, and biology, that you don't really have that much control over it. You can to an extent, but I think if you try to control it to that like kind of obsessive amount, all it does is just kind of hinder you and kind of makes you like resent who you are and kind of in a way resent your parents and who they are. So I think that, you know, we have control over how we can choose to present ourselves and stuff. I really like the idea that it's like, because you're your brain and you just have like a little avatar.
Yeah.
And so like, you are actually, you're just like,
Customizing.
You know, it's like The Sims.
It's really cute, that, I think.
Like, if there was a version of you that didn't go through that, what do you think the differences would be?
I probably wouldn't like her. No, genuinely, because I've got so much more depth and so much more understanding of people because of it. I look at people differently. I come to people with a different perspective and understanding.
How I colour my hair.
Yeah.
And like, but like how I dress is really important to me and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah, but like, yeah, I'm like very obsessed with what I can control. It's so weird. Like, it's really mind-boggling.
Because in theory, it could happen.
Yeah.
It could be a thing. So it's like, well,
And because like space is
perfect.
infinite, but expanding.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking.
Do you think there are other versions of you?
I don't know. Maybe. Do you?
There was possibilities for me to end up doing different things than that I'm doing now, but I don't know. I'm very secure in my identity as a person, I think. I kind of know who I am, I know what I like, I know what I don't.
Yeah.
So I think in that kind of extent, it's kind of strange for me to think that, oh, there's someone else who's me, but also isn't me. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe I'd say the opposite. I feel like I'm not very secure in what I like.
Yeah.
I like. Yeah. I feel like maybe more now. I think college has really helped me.
Do you think there's different versions of you?
That'd be cool. I mean, there has to be. I don't know. There has to be a different version of reality where I didn't make the choices I made. There has to be different versions of me that we have no evidence or anything, but it does make sense that there'd be different timelines and different people and different versions of ourselves.
Like based on the actions you've taken.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if you did this thing, I would be this person. If I was this person, I would be this person. And they will probably appear somewhere. But you're like, why am I this person, not that person? It's like interesting.
But because of where we are an individual, inside ourselves, we're only available and only allowed to see this singularity, and to us it seems like we're just making all the choices because we're within it. If I was able to step back and look at all my options before me genuinely and see it all, it'd be a different experience if I could go, oh no, I want to pick that route because that will get me to this route.
Yeah.
I think we live a much deeper version of that, which makes all these choices so much harder to involve ourselves in.
If I had more money, I would just like start, you know, doing like loads. You know, I'd fly to fucking the Maldives.
The Maldives.
Love that.
I'd buy an island.
There's no options. I don't think more money would benefit me. Money is obviously comforting, but I'm very happy to work for the money that I need and that I deserve. It's obviously hard to balance, but, you know, I need it. And I think I prefer working for my money and making my money my own way than having it given to me and then not understanding the meaning and the depth to it and not understanding how privileged I am to even have opportunities and experiences with it. I'd probably also be a bit of a jerk if I had too much money.
We were talking about that earlier, actually. I was talking to someone who was saying how too much money just taints you the other way around. It's just not.
Too much money sends you... I mean, too much money
That in itself is
undeserved.
like... Yeah, and that's kind of how it turns you from like, okay, how do these external things affect you as a person, you know?
Money. I mean, money is such a thing. It comes and goes. There's times I've had loads of money and I've not known what to do with it. There's times I spent, when I was like 17, I spent £120 on a skirt, a top, and a piece of jewellery. And I wore it that one night and I looked flipping good, but...
Do you still have the clothes?
Yeah, but I never wore it again. I've never worn that outfit again. That the skirt is too short, it's too this, it's too that. And so that just makes me think to myself, when I had money, I didn't use it very well. I didn't know what to do with it. It'd be no good if £1 million dropped in my bank account today. It'd be no good. I need to work for it. I need to have experiences with money and learn and get my education that way.
I think about Emma Chamberlain all the time. Like, she is a different person now that she has money. So
Olivia Neal, actually.
yeah, like
She's changed for the worse.
you change because
Everyone
you just
changes.
become like a bit of a dick almost, and you become like not relatable anymore. Like that's what I used to love Emma Chamberlain, but then she became so unrelatable.
Oh my god. I feel like it would be very, very different.
Do you have any like a vision of what that would have been like?
I try to imagine it.
Really?
I try, yeah, like sometimes I just try randomly.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would be in a very different mindset. Like, I feel like I would be less accepting of
Yeah.
everything.
Because it's like a cultural thing.
Yeah. And like, I feel like my personal beliefs and thoughts would be much, much different. Because they would be like shaped in a different way.
So there's like positive and negatives of what that would have been like. Do you ever wish that you lived there, or is it something that you're just like, I wonder if that happened?
I feel like that's the biggest like change in my life. That like the biggest thing that would have impacted my life if we went the other way, like if we stayed versus if we came here. I feel like that's impacted me a lot.
Because my nan's Polish and she come over here. She doesn't know any Polish.
You never said that.
She's Polish and Scottish. So she doesn't remember any Polish anymore, and she can only remember like English. And she wishes her mum carried on teaching her Polish because that's part of her life. She can't verbally speak Polish.
Do I think living in a different country would impact who I am? Definitely. I've got a lot of privilege in this country. Everyone here does. Like, watch the Hunger Games. We are literally the capital. No, we are the capital. We get to wear what we want. We get to dress what we want. We get to say what we want. We get to be who we want. We get to express that completely, whether people like it or not. There's a lot of countries where you're not allowed to do that. There's a lot of countries that are... I mean, in this country, we talk about feminism and human rights and all this type of stuff, but we never really experience it. You see it through a lens. You never actually feel poverty. You never feel the anger and the shame and the horrors of our world.
Is that possible? Are things already existing? So it's looking into that, but then I'm a teenage girl. I don't know much. You know, I just read on the internet. But you know, it's more of the like questions and it's the thinking. But it kind of links more to the parallel universe bit, where it's like, are there things that we, you know, are there different life things that we tap into? Like, which one do we choose?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I think definitely in a way, because humans are so little, but we think we're so big, and we think we know everything. We think that everything's been decided. Nope, no way. I'm in control of everything, and there's nothing else that can be done. But look at it with perspective and step back a little bit. It makes sense. Like the way that we all interact with each other, and hundreds of humans interact with each other, and each of their choices impact. There has to be some mathematical aspect.
Right, that's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? You get on a train, someone bumps you. Like, what reaction is there going to be from that? And like, how is that then going to impact the rest of your day and their day and every other journey and everything like that? I think there is a mathematical piece to it that is like, we are all very much in tune. You look at nature and see the patterns in nature and see how nature interacts with it. There are definite patterns and mathematics and stuff. Just because we as humans from within it aren't able to recognize it doesn't mean that other things from outside can't look at it and go, no, very much on a trajectory.
Yeah.
If we were able to map our lives out on a line.
That's weird as well. That's strange.
I'm sure that there would be some definite patterns for every single one of us. If you could get people's lives on a line, on a graph, and scale it, their whole lives, I'm sure it makes some type of interesting shape or diagram just because of genetically we start from combinations and maths and science and everything, and that's only natural for it to build. No matter how much spiritually we have within us, there's going to be that real, physical, scientific aspect to it.
I'll cut that out.
You can leave that in, honestly, I really don't care.
I regret the first time I met my actual husband.
Oh, yeah, roll.
No names. I regret that I didn't say anything, and I like stumbled on my words, and I stabbed him. And he made money from it though. And he made 80 quid. And he showed me memes, and I just didn't say anything. I was like, I could have had a full-on conversation.
You could have had a
I could have
husband.
we could have been
Ella, maybe
married.
this is your claim to fame. Maybe this is the time you'll Good to unveil yourself.
Been with him.
Cool.